know, this show is all about providing motivation and inspiration, celebrating culture, but then also promoting businesses. So our very first guest is Eugene, and I'm gonna have Eugene introduce himself. But before we get into that, I am Whitney Styles, fashion, beauty, lifestyle creator, but then also the founder and owner of Dress Code 187, which is streetwear inspired by urban culture. Before you introduce yourself, I have a question for you, actually a series of questions for you. First question, who has a better fashion scene, New York or Paris?
I would probably say New York.
Why?
I haven't been to Paris.
Oh, okay, that's honest. But you see it on the internet, you going with personal experience, New York.
Right.
All right, cool. Who is one celebrity that you dislike for no good reason? Never met this person.
Kenny Smith.
Who is Kenny Smith? What does he do?
He is a ex basketball player. He does color commentating for basketball now on like TNT and stuff like that with like Charles Barkley and all them.
Now I have to Google him. I don't even know him. What is your favorite restaurant?
So I like pasta, really.
Okay.
I want to say like Olive Garden.
Don't say Olive Garden. No,
Like-
you can't say Olive Garden.
I go, but that's not like the one where I'm like, oh my God, they pasta is the bomb. Like my all-time favorite meal is fried chicken, mashed potatoes, and corn. I'm not gonna go to nobody's restaurant and get that.
So you gonna cook that at home? You cook.
Right.
Food, I'm definitely a fan of soul food. On my other YouTube channel, I post food reviews. So be sure to check out Whitney Styles playlist on food reviews. We got plenty of soul food, black-owned businesses, and all of that. So check out that playlist. But now I'm gonna turn things over to you and have you introduce yourself. So Eugene, what do you want the world to know?
I am Eugene, period. I am he, him, first and foremost. I'm a father. I am the youngest of my mother's children. I'm the oldest of my father's children. I'm the creator of United Icons fashion brand. Officially began in October of 2020. The unofficial started in like 2017.
I see you got the hat on, you got the like a crew neck sweater on.
Got some beanies because obviously it's winter in the world and somewhere. We do a wide variety of like streetwear brand, if you want to say. But that's not the ending point of what we want to do. So it's just kind of where we at right now with it. Initially, I've been in the fashion game for the last 11 years. I don't know, doing wardrobe styling. I'm a photographer as well. So
Just creative by nature.
right. Any of those things that allow me to be creative and continue forward in what it is I'm doing or help facilitate things other people may be doing.
Speaking of help facilitate other things people might be doing, Eugene actually helped me coordinate a fashion show years ago, back in 2015. It was called Nirvana, and we have a couple videos to recap that too, so I'm definitely going to drop those links in the description box. I want to encourage you to check that out. You can see both Eugene and I in action as wardrobe stylists. Your brand, United Icons, was featured in a segment of New York Fashion Week. Let's talk about that. How did that happen? I bet a lot of people aspire to be, on those runways and have that attention on their brand.
Just know it's a load to carry on any level. It could be local, international, it can be New York Fashion Week, it can be in Paris. Just know you are about to
Do the work.
You about to put in some work.
Hustle.
Absolutely. And many people think, oh, I'm gonna just, pack up my stuff and go. At the end of the day, the objective is to, one, highlight your brand or whatever things you may be doing. Two, set a trend of fashion. You wanna test out some stuff or different things like that. And three, you still want sales. The
money.
Right. The
bread.
Is you want to have a sales. Getting samples created or making samples and stuff like that. Like you pay, the person, the brand, you pay for that. But depending on how high it is you trying to go and the things you want people to see, it's going to come out your pocket. So be prepared.
Okay, so let's talk about money and let's talk about pricing. So obviously I did my research before the interview. I checked out your website. I have a streetwear... Bro, you know who you're talking to. You know who you're talking to. Don't do me, because you know I'm doing some research. I was on your website and I checked out your pieces. I saw that you generally sell t-shirts, like short sleeve t-shirts, for about $50, and your crew necks start around $145. So how did you come up with this price point?
So when I initially started out, I said, well, what is my other end? Like, what do I want this to be? How do I want this to look? Smell, feel, all that other stuff. I've always been a quality over quantity type of person. I always ask, how did like Gucci or Louis Vuitton or whatever other high-end name brands that we're aware of, how did they get started? They made a decision if this is where they wanted to be in the space of what they were doing. At the same time, I had to make that decision. Where do I want to be in this fashion space when it comes to apparel? I didn't want to be I don't want to say lower end sell point. I wanted to create a higher value, higher quality, higher end product that will give people other options who may want to spend a little more for their looks. That was how it started. Then the ultimate thing was knowing the back ends. You got to know your margins and know your numbers and all that other stuff. In that is the cost of goods. How much does it cost to actually get these garments created? You know, so then you do your math and you make your adjustments according to that. I don't do a large volume of stuff yet, so you're not gonna see it in like a Nordstrom at this particular stage, because I'm not making 500, 600, 700 pieces. When you have to do smaller quantities, smaller batches of stuff, there's a difference in price as well.
So 2 major takeaways from my viewers who may be interested in starting a clothing line. One of the first things you need to do is know your audience. Who is your target customer? Know what that person is willing to spend on a piece similar to yours and or your piece. And the second thing I heard Eugene say is profit margins. Most of us are in the business to make money. We're not trying to do all this work and just be giving stuff away for free and making $1 off each sale. So yes, profit margins are very important for any aspiring business owner. All right, so when I looked at your website, I also saw on your inspiration tab of the website, this quote: "We live a life full of risk-taking because this is the only one we've got."
This is true. We
live a life full of risk-taking because this is the only one we've got. I mean, I took it out of context. There's a bunch of other stuff on the inspiration page too. But I just said this to ask you my next question, which is, what is the greatest risk you've ever taken? First off, with United Icons.
Doing New York Fashion Week, because I had no idea what level that risk was. Again, it was just me and the dream to do something. I don't know how it's gonna work. I had to get to New York. I had to get product to New York. I had to figure out samples. I couldn't figure out samples for the longest of time. By the time I could figure samples out, I was up against the clock. I had to travel to New York from Michigan a couple different times for inspiration and meeting models. Never tried the stuff on until the day of the show. I prayed that it fit. I prayed everything worked out. Shipping clothes, like shipping the samples and stuff like that, I prayed they didn't get lost in transit, because we know that happens.
Or just a huge delay with everything going on. A lot of packages are delayed, either stuck in a facility or coming 2 weeks late, 3 weeks late.
I had to fly it all there with me, like physically fly it all there with me, because I didn't want to take that chance of...
What airline do you use?
I think I used Delta.
So I'm using Southwest. 98% of the time I'm using Southwest, because you get those 2 free check bags. And I'm not endorsed or sponsored by Southwest at all, but just for all the viewers watching who may not travel often. Southwest, 2 free check bags. Right. Plus you get your 2 carry-ons, right? So you get a carry-on and a personal item too. I mean, in crunch time, you can squeeze some stuff in there. That's
what you got to do. You got to figure them things out. So you might be like, oh, I can fly with these people because they have a cheaper flight. But if you, in this particular manner, if you got to take your product somewhere, it's like, whoa, them bag fees start to add up.
Yeah, because you're paying $30 to $50 for a bag sometimes with other airlines.
Yes.
So did you have a team of people helping you with this New York Fashion Week, or is this only you? Like, do you do everything for your business?
I do it all, buddy. It's me, me, and me. But going to New York Fashion Week, I did have a great assistant that helped me out, which I was thoroughly surprised at. So that was a very integral part.
What is the most challenging thing about starting a clothing line?
Actually, like, executing the vision. Like, the hardest thing is actually doing.
As far as designs, like coming up with designs, putting it into print, getting in people's hands, which piece?
The doing part is the challenge, because a lot of people got ideas.
Yes.
A lot of people.
Very few execute in a highly productive and efficient way.
That's the hard part.
The execution.
I talk to people now all the time. Oh, bro, I see what you're doing, man. You're giving me inspiration. I want to, I've been wanting to start a clothing line for like the last 7 years. And I'm like,
what you waiting on?
What are you doing? Like,
what are you waiting on?
What's stopping you? Oh,
excuses.
Do it. Like, I don't care what it look like. Put something out, because that allows you to gain information. That allows you to gain some type of momentum of what to do or what not to do. But sitting here you know, saying this is a dream I got is never the way of getting anything done. But other than that, just being able to turn over the garments from concept to reality. Because again, it's funding involved. But ultimately, production is a big thing.
Okay. So I want to backtrack to say, really not even to say, just to emphasize one of the points you made. A dream is separate than a hustle, right? So, I mean, the dream is the starting point, but you literally have to do the work, regardless of what you're working on, whether you're starting a clothing line, starting a business, going to college, showing up every day to go work at another type of job. You have to do the work. You are not going to be successful if you don't do the work. And just a little shameless plug for my own business. You know, we don't have no rich parents here. I don't have any handouts. It's all about the hustle, right?
Right.
Dress Code 187 website, search Hustle Lifeline if you want to purchase this tea, because it's about the work. The dream is free, the hustle is sold separately. And that's very cliche, but as a business owner, entrepreneur, it's fact. So you talked about the production piece. I was like, yes, preach in my head, because having a clothing line, production, it seemed easy in the beginning, but then the quality ain't always there, right? Because you talked about how you struggled to get samples. I personally have worked with multiple vendors to produce my pieces. I work with multiple graphic designers and all that, because like you say, it's a challenge of the concept into actual physical product. What do you recommend for getting like a person to produce your garments? Like, are you using a vendor that's in Michigan, in Grand Rapids with you, or you outsourcing somewhere else?
I outsource the work. Again, for me, time is money. And if I can find someone who can do this thing for me and I can go do another thing, then I can get two things done. So
the viewers, I'm pretty sure you know what we're talking about, but when I say outsource the work, some people are physically making their own products. They are using a Cricut machine to print something. They're using a heat press machine to print something. They know how to run maybe a screen printing machine, or they have a sewing machine and they're stitching patches and designs onto their pieces. Some people do that, like literally doing all the work. But Eugene is saying that he outsourced paying another company somewhere else. And I also do the same. I ain't got time for that. I got the vision, I got the dream, and I got a plan, but I don't have time to physically do that either.
In part because I will have to learn how to do that. I felt like it was more beneficial for my time and the time of the world for me to still be able to function in my most optimum spaces to find somebody that already does this.
Yes.
Screen printing, sewing. If I can find somebody to do this that's within my budget, that can produce the quality that I'm looking for or I desire, and they can have a turnaround time that's beneficial, then that's what I'm gonna do. Because I can go and learn how to do the stuff. I can learn how to run a screen print machine, but how much time do I have to invest in that?
How much money do you have to invest to buy a screen printing machine? And then all the separate ink and then the screens and whatever else goes into it. It's a big investment, time and money wise. So before you think, oh, I'm just gonna save a couple coins by printing my own shirts, you ain't saving no money up front. Like, you got to invest everything, learn the process, and then hopefully sell some products to be able to get that money back.
Initially, that was why I decided to outsource the production parts of it. Even outsourcing in a pandemic, like, you have to be concerned about all this other stuff. So when we first started, a lot of stuff was still getting shut down. You only could have a certain amount of people in any place. Many people don't understand fashion in a sense, especially smaller fashion like you and I, was impacted by that a lot. Products, if we're using blanks for something, stuff was just unavailable because it couldn't get here. Even the simplest things that most people don't think about, like threads, certain colored threads you couldn't get, certain colored things you couldn't use.
Certain colored products were unavailable.
Correct.
Like literally out of stock, not available in the US.
Correct. Because it wasn't coming here. So
are your products created in Michigan, Grand Rapids, Michigan, or some other state?
Yes and no. No and yes. When I first started, this is just me and my own little goofballness. I was like, I don't want to use nobody in the city because everybody gonna use whoever in the city.
Everybody's gonna use the same vendors due to lack of options in Grand Rapids.
It does.
But then also, real quick, people steal your ideas. And like, this happens everywhere. This is not limited to Grand Rapids. But when I first launched Dress Code 187, I was like, first off, I'm only telling a handful of people because people be stealing ideas. I've shared other ideas before and then other people did it. No, they didn't execute the same way I would have done it. But, you know, keeping that intellectual property, and people will steal your idea quickly.
You also have to be concerned with that exact same thing, not just in Grand Rapids, not just in your particular town or state or wherever you are. People are now trying to go overseas to get production work and stuff like that done. When you do that, you do have to know and understand that they have a different set of rules and regulations than we have here in the US. So if you send all of your intellectual properties, your designs, your whatever information you have regarding your business, and they steal some stuff and reproduce your stuff in China, in Taiwan, in the Philippines, there's nothing you can do. Like, for an example, I'll tell a major piece of something. This ain't United Icons related, but they sell Ralph Lauren. I want to say it's in South Africa. That's not the original Ralph Lauren that we know. It's the exact same polo horse and all that other stuff. They sell it there because by the time he could get like patents and all that other stuff for global work, they already started using his stuff. And what's popular there, he's like, oh, well, you're selling my stuff. And they like, we got this branded here, not you.
I've seen the same thing happen before where major companies and businesses who have, access to a lot of money, a lot of capital, who can produce things quickly, they often steal ideas from the small influencers, the up and coming people, things like that. Literally seen it happen with a hair company, right? So one of the really good hairstylists in Grand Rapids, she created this specific wig that had these very unique colors, put it on the internet. It may have gone viral on the internet, right? But then another hair company who sells wigs, weaves, bundles, things like that, they saw that it was popping. They saw it was a demand for it, like the timing, everything was on point. They tried to recreate this wig that this popping artist in Grand Rapids had made, right? And then they put it on their website, sold it at obviously a cheaper price. It was not the same look and feel. The original Grand Rapids hairstylist did it best. She did it better. She did it best. It was her original creation. But the whole point is, the people who have access to money and can turn things around quickly, they will steal your idea and profit off of it before you do. So just another word of caution to anybody creating anything. Copyright if you need to, trademark if you need to, and just be careful who you share your information with. We want to educate you and share what we learned along the way, right?
That's the goal.
What is one piece of advice you would give to people with a clothing line on how to market their business to increase sales?
Sometimes you got to get out there and shake hands and kiss the babies. Yes. It might be some events. It might be some networking opportunities. It might be some emails. It might be any of all this stuff. Because a lot of people sit back and be like, oh, I'm just going to do social media marketing and stuff like that. It can be successful. Absolutely. You got to learn that for real, for real.
You got to learn it. And without the internet, what would you do?
Correct.
If the internet shut down tomorrow, how are you going to move your product without the internet? I feel like people rely too heavily on the internet these days. And it is a great tool, great exposure, get access to the world, literally worldwide. You can, get global customers in other countries. But at the same time, without the internet, what would you do? Yeah. So I really like your recommendation to get out there, shake hands, and kiss the baby. So, Whitney Styles, got to give my little 2 cents on this too. Getting your product in the hands of your target customer is very important too. So like when I launched Dress Code 187, I gave out free shirts to people and said, hey, I'm launching my business on this day, post on this day with a unique message, right? I mean, more to come. If y'all want more of this, let me know. I'll give you the content. But my whole point is I got the product into the hands of people. It created a buzz. People were like, what is this? Where did this come from? Oh, that's a cool slogan on a t-shirt. Where can I buy that, right? Right. And without any sponsored ads, nothing like that on Facebook, other than other people creating free posts and things like that, I sold $4,000 worth of product in the first 24 hours. So to me, that was a big deal because I never sold a product before. I never started a clothing line before. This is literally just me having these good ideas. So to some people, y'all might say $4,000, that ain't nothing. But to me, to make that type of money in 24 hours with no sponsored ads, no formal promo, no billboards, no commercials, like that was a big deal to me.
Actually, you can't be scared to actually promote what it is that you have going on. I don't care if it's shea butter, whatever.
I'm promoting my stuff to the death of me. And if you don't like it, you can stop talking to me. If it's too much on the internet, unfriend me, unfollow me, whatever. Because at the end of the day, I'm dependent on myself to be successful. I need other people. I need y'all to buy the product. I need the likes. I need the shares. I need the comment. I need the watch time on YouTube. But it's accountability. I got to hold myself accountable. So yeah, for sure.
Most people do get in this space of fear, like, oh, I'm talking about it too much, which you probably could be. I'm not saying
mute me.
Huh? You
I said mute me.
Oh, yeah.
If I'm talking about it too much, mute me.
Right.
I'm
I could be talking about it too much for you. But at the end of the day, like you said, I have to be the one to champion this on because I don't have big budget dollars behind me to go to some marketing firm and some marketing company to actually blow this thing out and have billboards. Like, for an example, when Drake album was about to come out, you just start seeing these little random things about something.
New York,
like,
we got the GOAT on the album.
Yeah, you like, what is this? And
Atlanta, we got Lil Baby on the album.
Stuff like that. And it's like, what the heck is what's the name of CLB?
CLB, Certified Lover Boy.
Like, what is CLB? But you just started seeing all this stuff.
It forced you to think about it.
Drake didn't necessarily go out and do all that stuff because he has a budget that
the OVO team was doing it. They were making live videos on Instagram. They was talking to customers. They was pulling up at neighborhoods like the album's on the way. The album is on the way. Right. So they were in the streets even if he physically wasn't. Correct. Because it wasn't safe for him and he had time and energy.
And it ain't just him at this point, you know. Yep. So it's dollars behind that allows him to get that done better. And he can be in Bucharest somewhere on the beach.
As a small business owner or a person who's launching a new business, a new brand, do you think it's important for that person to be the face of their business? Or do you think it's more beneficial for them to be in the background, behind the scenes?
I struggled with that for a minute. Some people will support it because it's you, and some people won't support it because it's you. I know of celebrities who have some businesses and stuff like that who was like, yeah, I knew if I was the face of whatever this particular thing was. I want to say it was Cam that was saying it. He was like, I know if I was the face of these hair salons and laundromats that I own, people was going to not come to it. So I wanted to have people actually support it and actually do it. So I'm not the face of all of this stuff. Then he got stuff like, for an example, album or Dipset stuff where he's the primary face of a lot of stuff and people support it because they love him. So it's a balance between the two. I don't think either one is incorrect. You just gotta kind of feel what element you in and what is it that you push in. And I struggled first, but then I'll just like forget it. It's me. It's who I am. It's created from the essence of me. So I'll be the primary face of it.
Tell me about your logo. How did you come up with your logo? Like what was the inspiration and the concepts behind the logo?
So initially I came up with the logo because I was doing some work, again, learning, trying to advance my skills in certain things. And I was working on this platform to learn how to like Adobe Photoshop type of thing.
What platform was it? Can you get a viewer some something?
Sure, it's a secret now.
Okay. All right. So
I wasn't doing Adobe, but I'm like, you know how you get, when you first get Adobe, you don't know what to do with it. So you just start playing around with it.
Adobe is hard after you've had it for months and years.
Right.
I use Adobe. I use Adobe Premiere to edit videos. I use Photoshop to make thumbnails. Right. Adobe is hard. Adobe is not all that user friendly. Right. And it costs money.
When you first did it, you were just playing around with it to see what the capacities of it was. Just like when you get a new iPhone, you just or Android, if that's what you use. Sorry, y'all. But you know, you play with it, you see what it's.
We are Team Apple. If y'all ever want to sponsor, promote, endorse anything we got going on. That's all I'm going to say.
I just started learning how to use this thing. And in me learning, that was how I made the logo. I was like, oh, I can do this. Oh, I can do that. I was like, oh, this is actually really cool. Now, the logo looked different than this. This is the finish. But it looked different when I originally did it. So I showed it to another friend I value who has been in the fashion game quite some time. That was like, yeah, it looked cool, but you know, it's probably some stuff you could tweak about it. So I took the information and kind of finagled it how they were talking about and came back with this as the finished product. And when I showed them the finished, what is now the finished product at the time, I didn't know if it was the finished thing or not, or if I was gonna have to fix some more stuff. So at the end, when he got the thumbs up, he was like, that's it. Now you have a product that is capable of canvassing the world. Before you had a product that was only capable of canvassing your city limits.
2 takeaways here. Number 1, think on a big level. Think global. Don't think about your own little hometown or, you know, your city. Please. Think global, right? You want your products to appeal to a bigger market. Most of us. I mean, that doesn't always work either. I guess I'm contradicting myself. But I mean, that local stuff does sell for some places like that are very Michigan and everything is the mitten, or, you know,
Right.
very Detroit versus everybody, or, you know,
Right.
Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas. I mean, it can work. You got to determine your niche and your target customer like we talked about earlier. But then the second thing is seek feedback from people if you value their opinion and you trust them. Before you spend a lot of money investing in a product or service, getting this website made, products, you know, professional product photos done and stuff like that, it doesn't resonate with people or they don't like the visual and it's not going to sell. So seek feedback from a trusted audience, a credible audience too, who actually opinion means something.
They're valuable to you in this particular space.
Yes.
Because I could have asked my mom the same information and she would have told me different feedback.
Yes.
Do I value my mama? Absolutely.
But in this space.
Right.
In
you
this
have
space.
to make sure you're talking to somebody who opinion you value in that space.
All right, moving right along. We're going to shift things into a different segment that I call For the Culture, right?
Ooh.
So we're going to shift. We're going to talk about For the Culture.
Let's do it.
I like how you, yes. I don't know if you're doing it to be funny or if you really with it, but yes,
No.
Shifting gears.
I ain't got the shmoney dance.
And for more random dance moves, check me out on TikTok, Whitney Styles on TikTok, for a bunch of dance videos and other randomness, right?
Right.
Shoes, Yeezys or Retro Jordans?
Retro Jordans.
Which number? Which model?
Ones preferably, but 5s are kind of like my favorite ones.
What is your favorite urban clothing line beyond United Icons?
A guy I know out of New York, signed by McFly or Muggsy McFly. He has a movement going on that I really rock with. Locally, it's a lot of other people that I do rock with. Obviously, the homie Bearall, he's definitely a vibe. The homie AB, he does a vibe. 3 winners that you can go check out.
I think all 3 of them were Black-owned businesses because that was going to be my next
Absolutely.
question. What is your favorite TV series or movie with a predominantly Black cast?
At this particular stage, I don't watch a lot of TV or series or anything.
No
like that.
Netflix? No Stars? You're not watching Power? You didn't watch BMF?
I've never watched Power. Sadly, sorry, y'all.
Power is the best show on TV. Maybe runner-up is Snowfall for me. Predominantly Black cast, urban. You know, I do it for the culture, so those are going to be my top
I'm
2.
on stuff like The Wire. Like, that's where I'm at with Oz.
That's all right. What is your favorite fashion trend right now?
Comfort.
So athleisure?
All that.
What is a trend that you wish would stop?
Lace. Everything.
Lace? Lace?
Lace.
Lace fronts?
Baby, them too. Go for it. Lace. Like what I would call like that 2000s baggy type of oversized looking. Yeah, I don't like it right now.
I'm going to shift and talk about business. We want to promote your other business. So you started out as a wardrobe stylist. You still do wardrobe styling. Talk to us about wardrobe styling.
So initially, wardrobe styling started out with, again, me figuring it out. Because at the time, I didn't know like how that looked. Now, I wasn't in like a New York or a large market like that. So I did my research, man. I spent hours upon hours reading books and reading magazines and trying to just engross myself in what this was. It came up as a conversation with a friend of mine. They were like, well, these are the things that you have always done that I've seen in this particular career or whatever option. I feel like that would be a good suit for you. So I was like, okay, now let's go. I had to struggle my way through all of that. It's not no real like wardrobe styling school, especially this was 10 years ago. There's probably more training and stuff available for people now, but at that time it wasn't really a lot without having to go to like New York or something like that. But then it shifted into like fashion shows and fashion show production and behind the scenes wardrobe and stuff like that. Somebody should be responsible for making sure that the product is going out on the runway looks proper. Even when designers are making collections, they talk with wardrobe stylists to streamline some of the stuff they're doing to actually say, what does this look like? How does this feel? How would a client or customer put this on and stuff like that? So I've done a trillion, million, billion fashion shows between Michigan, Grand Rapids, Detroit, Chicago, Atlanta, New York. I wanted to shift out of fashion show stuff and shift more into like editorial and e-commerce and marketing ads and campaigns and stuff like that. So.
All right, so think about the most fashionable people in your head. actors, actresses. It could be people you know as well, but just top 3 fashionable people in your head. Who are they?
Woo!
Who page do you go for inspiration? Like, if a person comes across your timeline, you like, yes, they get it every time. They are always on point.
I like random people. Like Lenny Kravitz is somebody that always steps. Michael B. Jordan currently is somebody that always steps. Steve Harvey then went all the way up now. Chris Paul does a really good job, even though I know he has a wardrobe stylist. All these people got a wardrobe stylist though, just so you know. Beyonce definitely does her thing. Rihanna does her thing. Tiana Taylor definitely does her thing. You definitely do your thing.
You gonna throw me in there at the end? Okay, sir. Thank you. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it.
But even like eccentric stuff, like Andre 3000 is still my guy. He's been my guy for a long time.
Okay, so speaking of fashion styling, tell me a quick story time of the most difficult person you've ever worked with. Like your visions were not aligning, they gave you attitude, you put together looks and they hated it.
Let me see if I can tell this one, man, without making nobody feel like crap. Because again, it was old. I've washed my hands with all that stuff.
Well, I hope it ain't me. We worked together years ago. I hope it's not me.
It definitely wasn't. It was a photo shoot. It wasn't necessarily like the client, but it was like the talent. The models and hair and makeup and stuff like that, I call them the talent, even though they're not necessarily, you know, the forerunners of whatever brand it may be. The models and stuff like that was just so prima donna. And I'm sitting here looking at them like, what in the heck are y'all doing? I don't like this. I don't want my hair like that. I don't think that looks right. I think you should put this with that. And I'm sitting here looking at them like,
you don't have a choice. You are a body. You literally are a body. We dress you, we style your hair, we paint your face. You are a body.
No, I'm not saying cut your hair off or anything like that. But if I wanted to, you know, pull it back and put it in a high pony, long. It's not about if that's what you personally gonna wear when you leave here for the next week.
See, their problem is they were probably thinking about the after party and they didn't want to be looking like that at whatever event they were going to next. I bet that's what it is. Because a lot of times the models and fashion shows are not paid. So they're paid with exposure, right? Paid with exposure. Or like you're getting complimentary hair and makeup. You might be able to keep the clothes that you're wearing and that's how they're paid. So they want to make sure that that beat is appropriate for the after party in the second event or the third event of the night.
At the same time, in that essence, the makeup artist is there to help translate the vision of the designer, not the vision of the model. It don't matter if this ain't the vision of the designer or whoever the creative director is. If that's not their vision, whatever you talking about is obsolete.
I'm letting you know I 100% agree with you. I want to thank all the models who dedicate their time and energy to show up for rehearsals and to be a part of the runway because you oftentimes are not paid. So thank you for your service. But like Gene is saying, at the end of the day, hair and makeup team is supposed to execute the vision of the wardrobe stylist, the designer, the whoever that person is who's trying to create this cohesive look and this vision. Correct. Because that hair you want might not match their vision. Cool. Correct. All right, so transitioning. This section, segment, all that. So you see I'm excited here. This segment is called I'm a Hustler, right?
Yes, you are.
So I am. Facts, period. Got it from my daddy. But what is the craziest thing you've ever done for money?
Worked a 9 to 5.
Who shamed the 9-to-5ers? You shamed the 9-to-5ers.
No, you said me. What is the crazy thing?
That's
I did, absolutely. Okay. I've had many jobs. I've been a server at Big Boy. I've washed dishes. I used to be a fry cook at the Hood Fish Fry. I worked on machinery. I've installed conveyor belt systems. I've been optometrist. I've worked at an eyeglass company. I was the one actually, I didn't do the exams because I was done by the doctor, but I'm fitting people for glasses and doing these little eye tests and making you read the charts. And I've done roofing, flat top roofing. And
you have an impressive resume, impressive skill set.
Yeah, that's some of the most difficult, probably the most difficult job I did was like concrete work.
You have $0 in the bank. You have 48 hours to come up with $10,000. How are you making that money? $10K US dollars. What are you gonna do to make that money?
So, do I have any other tools?
Yes.
I would definitely have to tap into some other tools.
What other tools? What other tools?
Photography, painting, like interior painting, exterior painting of like homes and rooms and stuff like that. Because I know there is capacity to get budget from other people.
It's a materials fee.
Right, I'll have to tap into that.
That customer getting charged.
Right, it's because then they'll give you the money and then you go and buy the stuff and whatever. So you just keep multiplying that. That'll probably be the first step. It would definitely be something service related because that will be the most efficient way for me to get money. Besides going to like rob a bank or some wild stuff like that I wouldn't recommend nobody to do. But
we are coming to the end of our show. It's just about time to close out the segment, but it's not over. Is it something you want to talk about? You said no.
It was fast.
You can come back.
This was sick.
I know, right? That's what happens when it's good people.
Right.
You're a good person. I'm a good host. Toot my own horn. Like, comment, subscribe, right? Air horn, toot toot. But we're not done. We're not done. We have one final segment, and the final segment is all about inspiration, right? Yeah. What is one of your biggest accomplishments?
Being a father. That has nothing to do with fashion.
That's fine.
Even though for my personal journey, it was a lot of struggle. One of my biggest accomplishments is actually that. When
you are feeling down, sad, depressed, not motivated, what song instantly puts you in a good mood? Is some Andre 3000? Hey, no. Is it some of that?
We go to the trap. We go into some. My song of choice to start out with is probably gonna be Rick Ross. These ends can't hold me back. And then it's probably gonna shift to like some 2 Chainz, Watch Out, Jeezy. His first album, Gets Me Together. I'll go to New York and listen to Cameron Purple Haze album and some Jay-Z. Dead Presidents. Don't listen to NWA, F the Police.
Okay. Take it there.
It's gonna be a bunch of unnecessary ruckus.
So what is one overall inspirational message that you have for our viewers? A quote you live by, your motto?
Do work. Do the work.
You know how people clap their hands for emphasis?
Yeah.
Do the work.
Hard work, easy work, whatever it is, put yourself in the game. Quit trying to halfway step. Quit trying to take shortcuts, because the thing with a shortcut is you arrive to your destination earlier than planned and unprepared. So do the work to be prepared so you can get to the places that you're supposed to get to in the time frame that you're supposed to get to it. It's going to be hard. It's going to be heavy. It's going to be long. It's going to be ugly. But at the end of the day, you doing the work is actually the thing that's going to get you what you need. It ain't going to come out the sky. It's not going to fall off the mountain. And none of that stuff ain't. Do the work. Plant the seeds. Let the harvest grow.
If people want to connect with you, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook, unitedicons@email.com. Definitely swing through to the website at unitediconsatelier.com. It has access points to get to all of my social medias. Hey, if you got my phone number, you can call, you can text the boy. Like, I'm reachable.
He's reachable. He's available.
Tell people, you need me, you can find me.
And all that information will be in the description box. We don't expect you to remember all that. We want to make it as easy as possible for you to connect with Gene, support his businesses. All right, so that brings us to the end of another show. We thank you for your time and attention. We hope that you like, comment, and subscribe. If you like this content, more interviews are coming. So be sure to subscribe and turn your notifications on so that you do not miss out. Me, the one and only. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Always. Thank you for watching. Hit the subscribe button to join the club.